Stop scrolling. This was never supposed to happen on stage. Not in front of worship lights. Not in front of praying women. And definitely not in front of cameras that never blink. What you're about to hear didn't start as gossip. It started as a whisper. A secret carried for exactly 8 weeks, and then detonated in public. The room was packed. Worship music fading. Phones already raised. ERIKA Kirk stepped onto the stage, polished, calm, prepared to preach about marriage, submission, and surrender. Everything looked holy. Everything looked controlled. Until it wasn't. From the crowd, a woman stood up, shaking, holding folded papers like they were evidence in a courtroom. She didn't scream. She didn't ask permission. She locked eyes with ERIKA and said the words that split the room in half. You've been lying for 8 weeks, and I'm done protecting you. That woman was Charlie Kirk's sister. Gasps ripped through the auditorium. People froze. Some thought it was a heckler. That illusion died the second ERIKA's face drained of color. No denial. No smile. Just panic. Because this wasn't about drama. This was about receipts. A secret phone number. Encrypted messages. A marriage exposed as strategy. Faith reduced to a funnel. Vulnerability turned into currency. And then, as if the moment wasn't already collapsing, Candace Owens was sitting front row. Silent. Watching. Waiting. Because she already knew. Before security could move. Before the microphone could be cut. Before ERIKA could spin a single word. The truth came out. Not online. Not in DMs. But live, in front of hundreds of women who built their lives around her words. What followed wasn't just an exposure. It was a public unraveling. A belief system collapsing in real time. A Christian influencer empire catching fire from the inside. And that was only phase 1. Because once the lies cracked, the names didn't stop. Stay with us. Because what happens next makes this confrontation look merciful. This was not a rumor. This was not a leak. This was not a Twitter thread posted at 2 a.m. This was a public collapse, in real time, under worship lights. The room was full of women who believed they were safe. Safe in faith. Safe in sisterhood. Safe in truth. ERIKA Kirk was moments away from delivering a keynote about surrender, submission, and letting God lead your marriage. The stage was warm. The music was gentle. Cameras were rolling smoothly. Everything was calibrated to feel holy. And then something went wrong. A chair scraped against the floor. Soft at first. Then louder. Heads turned. A woman stood up near the front row, hood pulled low, hands shaking, gripping a folded piece of paper like it was the only thing keeping her upright. She didn't shout. She didn't wave her arms. She didn't beg for attention. She waited. ERIKA noticed her before anyone else did. You could see it in her eyes. That moment when the air changes and your body reacts before your mind catches up. Her smile stiffened. Her breath shortened. She stopped mid-sentence. The woman lifted her head. I won't stay quiet anymore, she said. That's when the whisper spread. Row to row. Phone to phone. That's Charlie Kirk's sister. Morgan Kirk. Gasps cut through the room like blades. This wasn't a troll. This wasn't a heckler. This wasn't someone chasing clout. This was family. Blood. The last person who should ever be standing there. Morgan's voice cracked, but it never wavered. You've been lying for 8 weeks, she said, staring directly at ERIKA. And I have proof. The room froze. No music. No applause. No intervention. Just silence so thick it felt dangerous. ERIKA didn't respond. She couldn't. Her hands lifted slightly, palms open, like she was trying to physically stop what was coming next. Her face drained of color. The woman who built an entire platform on control suddenly had none. Morgan stepped forward. She didn't rush. She didn't panic. She spoke like someone who had already cried every tear weeks ago. You preached grace, Morgan said. You posted about humility. You taught women how to submit in marriage. And behind closed doors, you were running a strategy. That word landed hard. Strategy. Morgan explained that 8 weeks earlier something small had gone wrong. A technical glitch. A shared family cloud plan. One number that wasn't supposed to exist suddenly appeared. A line labeled with a name no one recognized. A second phone. A private line. Not for travel. Not for security. Not for planning. For secrecy. From that line came encrypted messages sent to someone outside the family. Messages that were never meant to be seen. Messages that didn't sound confused or broken or lost. They sounded calculated. Morgan unfolded the paper in her hands. Her fingers trembled as she read. Charlie was never the point, one message said. The marriage was necessary for access. A woman in the audience let out a sob so loud it echoed. ERIKA shook her head, barely, like denial might still save her. It didn't. Another message. They believe the pain. That's what makes the posts perform. People started crying. Not quietly, openly, uncontrollably. These weren't casual followers. These were women who had shared ERIKA's quotes during counseling sessions. Women who had modeled their marriages after her content. Women who had stayed silent in their own pain because ERIKA taught them that suffering was sanctifying. ERIKA tried to speak. Nothing came out. That's when the tension broke again, because someone else stood up. Candace Owens. Front row. Calm. Unshaken. Almost bored. She didn't rush the stage. She didn't raise her voice. She clapped once, sharp, deliberate, and said just loud enough for the microphones to catch it. Go ahead, ERIKA. Tell her she's lying. Every camera snapped toward Candace. ERIKA's knees locked. Candace continued. Because what Morgan has is only part of it. That sentence detonated the room. Candace explained that she had seen the messages weeks earlier. Not rumors. Not summaries. Originals. Draft. Voice notes. Documents. A system. A blueprint. Hearts and hierarchy. According to Candace, ERIKA wasn't just lying. She was teaching others how to lie beautifully. How to construct vulnerability arcs. How to schedule emotional breakdowns. How to delay healing so engagement wouldn't dip. Submission wasn't theology. It was leverage. Faith wasn't belief. It was branding. Before security could move, another woman ran toward the stage. Young, pale, crying so hard she could barely breathe. She grabbed the microphone with shaking hands. My name is Tessa, she said. I worked for her. The room shattered. Tessa confessed that ERIKA personally oversaw captions, reels, and stories. That every tear had timing. Every silence had purpose. That they tracked which posts made women cry and repeated those formulas. If we could emotionally break them, Tessa said through sobs, we could own the algorithm. She pulled a USB drive from her pocket and held it up like evidence in a trial. This has everything, she said. Emails. Deleted drafts. Voice memos. ERIKA collapsed forward, gripping the podium to stay upright. The microphone caught her breathing, shallow, panicked, exposed. I love the life, she whispered. Not the man. The sound that followed wasn't applause. It was devastation. Someone dropped a Bible. Someone screamed scripture. Someone cried that they had left their husband because of ERIKA's teachings. Security finally approached, but Morgan stopped them with one hand. Let her walk, she said. She earned this. ERIKA left the stage without a word. No exit music. No comfort. No defenders. Just silence. But the story didn't end there. Because as Candace stepped back to the microphone, she delivered the line that ensured this wouldn't stay contained. If you think ERIKA was the only one, she said, pausing, you should sit down. And with that, phase 1 was over. Phase 2 was already loading. They thought it was over when ERIKA walked off that stage. They were wrong. Because the real damage didn't happen under the lights. It happened after the silence. Within minutes of ERIKA disappearing backstage, the auditorium fractured into chaos. Women were crying in the aisles. Others were frozen in their seats, staring straight ahead like they had just survived something violent. Volunteers whispered urgently into radios. Security blocked exits, not to trap people in but to slow the bleeding. Phones kept recording anyway. Truth had momentum now. And it wasn't stopping. Candace Owens didn't chase the noise. She waited. She always waited. While the room unraveled, she stood still near the stage steps, scrolling calmly through her phone like someone reviewing receipts she already memorized. When she finally looked up, it wasn't to address the crowd. It was to address the system. What you saw up there, she said, voice low but lethal, wasn't a breakdown. It was a protocol failure. That sentence sliced through the room. Candace explained that ERIKA's collapse wasn't impulsive. It was overdue. According to the messages, ERIKA had been running a structured influence operation for years, not weeks, using faith language as camouflage. The 8-week window Morgan referenced wasn't the beginning of the deception. It was the moment the deception slipped. Candace revealed that ERIKA tracked emotional response the same way brands track conversion rates. Crying comments meant success. Confessional DMs meant loyalty. Silence meant manipulation was working. Healing was delayed on purpose because healed people stop engaging. Pain was the product. And ERIKA sold it wrapped in scripture. Before anyone could process that, Candace dropped the next name. Danielle Walsh. The temperature changed instantly. Danielle wasn't loud. She wasn't controversial. She was trusted. Known for soft-spoken devotionals, pastel-colored prayer journals, and quiet authority, mothers followed her. Churches partnered with her. Puza shared her content. Candace posted a single screenshot. An email thread. Danielle to ERIKA. Subject line: Echo Strategy, Faith Funnel Growth. The room erupted. The emails detailed coordination between the two women, timing reels to emotional cycles, syncing captions with trending vulnerability language, amplifying each other's testimonies to create the illusion of organic awakening. One line stopped everyone cold. Once they believe your pain, they'll follow you anywhere. Another screenshot followed. A Slack message from ERIKA. Morgan's too close. Might need a family-focused reel to soften perception. Include Charlie's mom if possible. The implication hit harder than the confrontation. Family wasn't sacred. It was usable. Outside the auditorium, the internet caught fire. Clips leaked before the event even ended. Twitter timelines flooded. Instagram stories exploded. TikTok stitched the collapse in real time. Within 15 minutes, the hashtag #FaithGate began trending. By the time the event officially ended, it wasn't an incident. It was a reckoning. That night, Charlie Kirk went live. No studio. No podium. No branding. Just a dim hotel room and a man who looked like he hadn't slept in days. His voice cracked early, but he didn't stop. "I didn't know," he said. "I didn't know any of it." He admitted that he had defended ERIKA publicly, dismissed concerns privately, and trusted her explanations when things didn't add up. He confirmed that Candace had shown him documents earlier that week, documents he had hoped were misinterpreted. They weren't. Charlie revealed that ERIKA had scheduled anniversary posts weeks in advance with hashtags like sacrificial love and tested faith. He paused, then turned the camera toward his laptop. An open content calendar. Same date. Different file. Email subject: Exit Strategy. That single detail shattered what little sympathy remained. Charlie didn't cry. He didn't yell. He did something worse. He disengaged. "I've asked ERIKA to step away from the platform," he said. "From partnerships. From the narrative." Then came the sentence no one expected. "There are things she said about our wedding that I didn't see until this week." He ended the stream without ceremony. No blessings. No forgiveness talk. No comments allowed. By morning, the fallout was impossible to contain. Puza quietly deleted ERIKA's entire podcast archive. Danielle Walsh's account vanished without explanation. A Google document began circulating titled The Purge List, a running list of influencers trained under ERIKA's mentorship system. 35 names appeared within hours. 10 had faith coach in their bio. 5 were writing Christian books. 3 were scheduled to speak at upcoming women's conferences. Brands panicked. Dayspring pulled devotional products overnight. Lifeway canceled panels without statements. Faithbox lost thousands of subscribers after ERIKA's face appeared in archived campaigns. Sponsorships froze across the board. One PR agency leaked that more than $3 million in deals were paused pending internal review. Inside churches, the tone shifted. Pastors addressed it from the pulpit. Women's groups canceled studies. Marriage retreats were postponed. One church in Dallas titled its Sunday sermon, "Faith versus Filters." Then Reddit exploded. A thread titled "Morgan Wasn't the First" gained traction fast. A user claiming to be a former women's outreach volunteer posted screenshots from a 2022 closed-door training call run by ERIKA. The slides were devastating. Create a vulnerability arc. Delay resolution until engagement dips. Use miscarriage language sparingly. People don't check dates. Emotion converts. Women recognized themselves in those slides. They weren't stupid. They were targeted. Videos flooded social media. Not polished montages, but shaky, tear-soaked confessions. Women admitting they stayed silent in abusive marriages because ERIKA taught them endurance was holiness. Others admitting they faked joy to look faithful. Some confessed they stopped trusting God altogether. "This wasn't discipleship," one creator said through sobs. "It was manipulation." Influencers scrambled. Some posted vague apologies. Others disappeared completely. A few tried to preach forgiveness. That backfired instantly. "She didn't fall," one comment read. "She calculated." Candace Owens remained quiet, until she didn't. 3 days after Charlie's livestream, she posted a video titled Phase 2. No thumbnail. No music. Black screen. A folder unlocked on screen. Hearts and hierarchy. Influencer Echo Guide. Phase 2. One name appeared. Heather Kirk, Charlie's sister-in-law. The internet froze. Heather had been viewed as collateral damage, family caught in the fallout. Instead, Candace revealed an internal document marked confidential. It outlined a contingency plan in case ERIKA's image collapsed. Heather was the bridge, the soft landing, the grief shield, the narrative absorber. If ERIKA falls, Heather activates, the document read. Deploy sorrow posts within 48 hours. Use childhood photos. Frame forgiveness. The most chilling line came last. If outrage reaches tier 5, release the miscarriage draft. This wasn't damage control. It was architecture. The video ended without commentary. No Candace on camera. No reaction shot. Just silence. And one question burning through every timeline. If this was phase 2, who was phase 3? By the time phase 2 hit the internet, the damage was irreversible. This wasn't backlash anymore. It was collapse. Entire pages went dark overnight. Influencers who once posted daily devotionals vanished without explanation. Stories auto-deleted. Comments disabled. Bios wiped clean. The silence wasn't peaceful, it was panicked. Because everyone understood the same terrifying truth at the same time. Heather was phase 2. Phase 3 was already active. According to alleged internal documents circulating among creators, phase 3 was never meant to be loud. It wasn't built for confrontation. It was designed for survival. Quiet accounts, soft voices, low engagement suspicion, women who didn't look ambitious, women who didn't preach, women who just shared their hearts. That's when the timeline started rewatching everything. Old reels resurfaced. Old captions got dissected. Old tears were slowed down frame by frame. People weren't asking, is this fake? They were asking, who taught you this? Because the same language kept appearing. The same phrasing. The same emotional arcs. I didn't know why I was crying. I'm not healed yet. God is still working. Always unresolved. Always unfinished. Always profitable. Allegedly, that was the point. A leaked spreadsheet began circulating under the name Emotional Retention Ladder. It outlined stages: curiosity, sympathy, dependency, loyalty. At the final stage was a note highlighted in red. Healing reduces engagement. Delay resolution. Women who had followed faith content for years felt something break internally. Not anger. Not outrage. Recognition. They saw themselves inside those strategies. Their prayers. Their confessions. Their lowest moments repackaged as content fuel. One woman uploaded a video at 3 a.m., eyes swollen, voice shaking. I thought God was silent, she said. Now I think I was being managed. Another admitted she stayed in a destructive marriage because she believed suffering was proof of obedience. She quoted captions she once saved. Those captions now read like scripts. Churches responded cautiously. Some avoided the topic entirely. Others addressed it head-on. A pastor in Georgia told his congregation, faith should never feel like performance anxiety. The clip went viral within hours. Behind the scenes, audits allegedly began. Digital ministries paused partnerships. Influencer agencies scrubbed client lists. Internal emails leaked using phrases like risk contamination and credibility collapse. No one wanted to be associated with the architecture. Meanwhile, ERIKA remained silent. No apology video. No statement. No tears for the camera. According to sources close to the situation, that silence wasn't shame. It was calculation. Because another document leaked. A draft titled Controlled Disappearance Protocol. The outline described how to step back publicly without admitting wrongdoing. How to frame silence as spiritual retreat. How to wait for outrage to exhaust itself. How to re-emerge months later under a reframed testimony. The final bullet point chilled everyone who read it. Absence increases mystique. Let them miss you. That's when Candace Owens posted again. No video. No commentary. Just a black screen with white text. Phase 3 isn't a person. It's a culture. That sentence detonated. Because suddenly this wasn't about one marriage. It wasn't about one influencer. It wasn't even about one network. It was about an ecosystem that rewarded pain and punished peace. Brands began distancing themselves publicly. Statements appeared with careful wording, reviewing partnerships, reassessing values, committed to transparency. Behind those statements were losses no one wanted to calculate. Retreats canceled. Books delayed. Speaking tours dissolved. One publisher quietly pulled 3 upcoming titles after reviewers flagged similarities in narrative structure. Another halted a memoir mid-edit when editors realized the trauma arc never resolved. The audience had learned the pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Even creators who had nothing to do with the alleged system felt the shift. Comment sections became interrogations. Followers asked harder questions. Vulnerability was no longer praised automatically. Tears were met with skepticism. Faith content entered its reckoning phase. Some influencers tried to pivot to raw honesty. That failed. Others leaned into forgiveness messaging. That failed too. Because the audience wasn't asking for grace. They were asking for truth. Charlie Kirk broke his silence one last time through a brief written statement. No livestream. No commentary. Just words. This season has revealed things I never imagined. I am choosing privacy, accountability, and distance from anything that manipulates faith for influence. No names. No accusations. The absence said enough. As for Heather, her page remained active, but carefully so. Soft posts. Old photos. Scripture without captions. Comments turned off. According to alleged planning notes, that was intentional. Neutral presence. No engagement spikes. No triggers. A holding pattern. Phase 2 didn't scream. It waited. And Phase 3? Phase 3 was already in feeds. Women started calling it out themselves. Videos appeared titled, "Signs You're Being Spiritually Marketed To." Others broke down emotional manipulation tactics disguised as testimony. Entire communities formed around deconstruction, not of faith but of influence culture. One phrase kept appearing. We were discipled by algorithms. That became the epitaph. Because this wasn't cancel culture. It was awakening. And awakenings don't need leaders. They spread horizontally, quietly, relentlessly. Once trust is gone, no platform rebuilds it the same way. The alleged hearts and hierarchy system didn't just fail. It poisoned its own soil. And now, every faith creator faces the same question, spoken or unspoken. Are you sharing belief? Or are you harvesting emotion? Because the audience is watching differently now, listening differently, feeling differently. The innocence is gone. The blind trust is gone. What remains is discernment. The kind that doesn't clap easily. The kind that doesn't cry on cue. The kind that doesn't confuse performance with presence. This story didn't end with ERIKA walking off a stage. It ended with millions of women stepping back from a screen and asking themselves one terrifying, liberating question. Who benefits from my pain? And once that question is asked, no system survives unchanged. If this story made you uncomfortable, that's not an accident. Discomfort is the moment truth starts working. Because this was never just about one influencer, one marriage, or one quiet disappearance from the internet. This was about a system that learned how to turn pain into power and faith into currency. And the scariest part isn't what was exposed, it's how familiar it all felt. So now the question is on you. How many times have you watched tears and thought they were healing, when they were actually strategy? How many times have you trusted words because they sounded holy, not because they were honest? How many stories have you shared, defended, or followed without ever asking who was benefiting from the damage? If you're still watching, you're already part of the conversation. Silence doesn't mean neutrality anymore. It means permission. Comment if you think this was manipulation disguised as testimony. Comment if you believe faith should never feel like emotional debt. Comment if you've ever followed someone who kept you broken instead of helping you heal. And if you think this exposure should go further, share this video before it disappears like so many others already have. Because the algorithm rewards obedience, not truth, unless people force it to change. Subscribe if you want the stories they don't want unpacked. Like if you believe influence without accountability is dangerous. And stay alert because this chapter may be closing, but the system behind it is still alive, still quiet, and still watching. And the next revelation? It won't ask for your forgiveness. It'll ask for your attention. Don't give it blindly.